Hey guys, welcome back to Ojo's Pizza. Today we're in the kitchen, and if you think you can't make a good pizza at home using frozen dough, think again. We're going to show you exactly how using our very own frozen dough. Let's do it. Okay, so before we start, your key to success here will be using, if you can get hold of it, fine semolina. You can, worst case, you can use flour, but in the oven it tends to burn. So if you can get hold of fine semolina like this, you can get this in Asda. That's where we get it in this size bag as well. So if you can get hold of this, brilliant. If not, you can use flour or you can use coarse semolina. But yeah, what you want to do is get a bowl ready with some semolina in it. Now the frozen dough, to defrost it, say you're making pizzas or at 7 o'clock on a Saturday night. You want to get this dough in the fridge on Friday night, and then in the morning, get it out, get it to room temperature, and you should get all of these nice bubbles, and that's what we want in our dough. So yeah, always work backwards and give yourself enough time to get it defrosted and back to room temperature. If it's not at room temperature, it's going to be really tight and it's not going to work with you. So this is nice room temperature dough. So what we're going to do is get it into our bowl, so we can turn it upside down and just be patient with it. We don't want to start grabbing it out because that's when we're going to lose all of our air. So we want to just try and let it come out by itself as much as you can. It might need some persuasion, but here we go. So this is the bottom. We want to keep that underneath, but we want to coat the whole thing in semolina. So without being rough, just remember you've got all of those air bubbles in there that you want to keep. So give it a good coating with semolina. We'll put a little bit on our board, which will help it come off when we go to the oven. So I already flipped the pizza upside down. So onto the board. Now at this point, you want to make sure that you've got a nice circle. If it's square or anything, you can use your hands just to make it into a nice circle again. Now what we want to do is push all of the air into the crust, because then when it hits the oven, that's what's going to puff up and give you the nice Neapolitan style crust. Whatever you do, do not bring a rolling pin to this party. It's not welcome. We don't use rolling pins because all of that air, that's what we work for. We make this dough to give you all of the air to work with in your pizza oven or in your home oven. Don't squash it with a rolling pin. So you want to take your fingertips and work from, you want to keep a board around the edge. So you want to just push your fingertips down and then work all the way to the edge. And do that around the whole pizza until you've got probably an inch of crust. And you can hear that air making its way to the edges. There's no rush with this. And then once you've done that, flip the base over and do it again on the other side. Now there's all sorts of techniques to stretch a pizza, and we slap them about, we throw them around, but I'm just going to teach you a basic way, because if you look, we're nearly there anyway, just by stretching it with our fingertips. So you always want to keep the bottom on the bottom. Now you can use the fingertips just to spread like that, or you can put the base on the back of your hand and just work round. Remembering never to pinch that crust. because the dough is at room temperature, it's working with us really nicely. And then I want to put it down, have a look. I could stretch this bit a bit more. There we go. Got a nice base there, stretched on our peel. If you haven't got a peel, you could always use something like a baking tray turned upside down, or anything that you've got, but you want to make sure that there's semolina in there. Just as a demonstration, you want the pizza to move, so you need that semolina underneath. Now what we're going to do is top the pizza. So I'm going to get everything ready and we're going to come back and top this. Okay, so before we top the pizza, you want to make sure you've got your oven as high as it can go. Now there's a couple of tips we're going to show you about how to cook it at home. I think a lot of you will be here because you've got some dough off us, and if you are, big shout out to you. And you might be cooking it in a home oven, so that's why we're cooking it in a home oven today, because not everyone's got a pizza oven. So what we want to do is try and get as close to a wood-fired oven or a pizza oven as we can. So what you want is your home oven up full with a baking sheet in there. Even better if you can get a pizza stone or a pizza steel. Get it in there, get it as hot as it can go. Give it a good half an hour before your pizza goes in there. Now we've got our pizza stretched out here, so I'm just going to top it quickly. So this is a sauce that we made earlier. If you don't know how to make a decent pizza sauce, check out our video. We've done a San Marzano pizza sauce. It's simple, it requires no cooking, and it's the best pizza sauce you can make. So check that out if you haven't already. With the sauce, you don't need a lot on your pizza because you want as little moisture on your pizza. So let's get some lovely sauce on there, spread it about, work from the middle outwards, and then leave that gap, leave the crust without any sauce on it, obviously. Okay, got some shredded mozzarella. You can use any cheese that you want. One top tip for when you're topping your pizzas, don't go mental, because if you've got too much on there, your base won't cook properly. There's going to be too much weight on there. It might stick to the steel or whatever pan you've got in there, and you'll have a bit of a mare with it. So keep it simple. Always do the sauce and then the cheese, because when you have the pepperoni and things, you want that crispy. But it's personal choice, I guess. It's preference. If you want your cheese on top of your pepperoni, then who are we to judge? So nice and simple, in like that. Tear some fresh basil on the top. And that's nearly ready to go. What we're going to do, we're going to put a bit of olive oil on our crust. Now that's going to help it caramelize a bit, it's going to help it crisp up. You don't need a lot. If you've got a brush, pastry brush or anything like that, just give it a real thin brush over, just to help it along the way in that home oven that doesn't quite get up to the temperature that the pizza oven does. Right, now we're ready to go into the oven, so let's go over there and get it in the oven. Alright, full disclosure guys, my mic wasn't working at this point in the video for some reason, so I'm going to talk you through this. What we're doing is we're going to be adding steam to the bottom of the oven. So just before your pizza goes in, get a tray, put it in the bottom of the oven, boil a kettle, and then add that water into that tray to create that burst of steam just before your pizza goes in. And this stops the crust hardening straight away, and it allows it to expand in the oven. So pop that steam in, make sure your temperature is nice and high, and then get ready to go ahead and get that pizza in there nice and carefully. So if you've got a sliding shelf in your oven, that's ideal. If not, just be extra careful, and then just go ahead and get that pizza on that stone or that tray. Pop it back in as fast as you can, and then leave that to cook for about 7 to 10 minutes before coming back to take that steam out. Right, so we're about 2 minutes away from this being finished, so I'm going to take the steam out, and that's just going to let it crisp up. Being very careful. And now we're just going to let that crisp up to how we like it, really. You can keep an eye on it, and you just want a nice brown crust with all the toppings cooked in the middle. So give it another 3 or 4 minutes, but just keep an eye on it and make sure it's not going too far. So it's not going to be long now. Right guys, so our pizza is finished. It's out of the oven, and look at that. Perfect pizza for a home oven. Where's my mic? Get some crisp. And that's what you don't get from a supermarket pizza. And there's not a lot of effort, to be fair, involved. Look at this pizza cutter, how amazing is that? Made out of old skateboards. So we're going to chop this up and then see what we've got. So we've got a lovely bit of pizza, nicely cooked underneath, nice crispy crust. So yeah, hopefully yours has turned out the same as ours. If you do have any comments, if you've left the dough, we'd love to hear how your dough went and how you got on with it. If you did buy it from us, then much appreciated, massive shout out to you. Make sure to subscribe, because we're going to do loads of videos on tutorials and stuff like this, and share everything that we do. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed your pizza, and we'll see you on the next video.